Right before Astra's eyes, her big, vibrant, beautiful city is crumbling down, and as far as she knows, the entire world is headed for an apocalyptic meltdown. These evil demigod-like creatures are coming after her. They will easily walk over her dead body to reclaim the bangle that she has around her wrist, that has somehow given her the ability to don a Captain America-esque type shield that seems to have its own concern for Astra's health. The only thing that Astra can think about through this whole thing is finding her lost sister, the sister that gave her that bracelet, the sister that she looked up to, the sister that has always been there for her. So today, I want to talk about a game that just got released on the Nintendo Switch, and that is a game called Shieldmaiden. But before we get into that, I do want to remind you guys to please hit that like and subscribe button. I hate asking, but I know that if I don't do it, YouTube's going to take my children and give me syphilis, and now I'm probably going to be demonetized, not like I was monetized. Either way... Back to Shieldmaiden. So this game is a 2D side-scroller that is rather accessible. And when I say that, I mean that the combat is fun and engaging, but not overwhelming. In fact, the patterns that the bosses use in a lot of ways are just repeated over and over. So for some elitists and people who are just really good at these games, this game might be kind of boring, honestly. Or at least easy. But it doesn't mean that that's the only thing that this game has to offer. Because aside from the combat, which again, I find really fun and engaging, but I'm not the greatest at these type of games, so this was kind of a breath of fresh air to actually just sit back and kind of enjoy the story, as well as there are some moments, some bosses that really get to you, and I would be lying if I didn't say I did die a handful of times, and it's just part of the game, but it's not, like I said, overwhelming. It's not frustrating. Astra's shield provides a lot of different uses. It can be thrown like Captain America or attacked up front, also I guess like Captain America, but then this shield is meant for defense, and defense in a good way because it will turn into offense. The more that you block enemies' attacks, it'll fill a gauge for you to give you a special attack, which is almost like her ultimate attack, releasing all this energy that has been stored inside the shield. Now this move comes important quite often as you fight different enemies that have impenetrable defenses. I found that out the hard way. The only way to do it is by using this move. But it's not the only thing the shield is used for. In fact, this shield can be used in certain situations to traverse the areas, because there'll be areas that are just covered in like laser beams, like the floor or the ground that you are trying to access is just a pure form of laser, and you can actually use the shield to kind of surf on that laser beam. But I have to say that it's more than gameplay that really got me to like this game. You see, yes, I enjoy the combat. I think it's accessible yet really engaging. I really enjoy a lot of the enemies as they're kind of creepy and weird, especially the bosses. And this underlining story that just seems to be bigger than the situation you're currently in, which is already massive, by the way, as again, the apocalypse is essentially happening. The world is ending before you. The thing that this game also has is a lot of personality, like an amazing amount of charisma and charm wrapped up into an apocalyptic nightmare. But honestly, that's all offset by the fact that the pixel art itself has so much character about it. You really feel like you know. The game just has so much personality. It's also offset by the fact that it has like neon vibrant light that offsets some of this darkness about it, as well as having some well-defined expressive pixel art. It just really pops, and the characters themselves really come off the screen. Even the bad guys, like I said, have this certain air about them that is just kind of creepy, but again, in a really, really good way. You don't want a bad guy to be, I don't know, someone you could end up liking, or someone you just can't tell their expressions or their hatred towards you. And to completely wrap up this whole experience, you're also then left with 80s wave synth music to kind of keep you going throughout the entire game. Honestly, I love wave music. I don't know why. I could honestly say like my wife was really into retro music, and this is something I kind of got into as well. There's an air about it that is just kind of fun, even though the lyrics often are really depressing. If you don't believe me, check into some of that. I digress though. No, this game, it mixes, like I would say, classical music with the 80s wave synth, and it works really, really well. It becomes more like a companion piece to keep you going through the game, much like your guide through the game. If you didn't already have a guide who is also pretty cool and interesting, is they live in a computer. Yes, you do have a guide. You have a computer generated, I don't know what it is, but it's your friend. and he helps you, or she, guide you into where to go next. They get into computers and direct where the subway goes, because for the most part, the only way that you get from level to level is on a subway. And ultimately, these subway little transitions are something I really enjoyed, as you can just see Astra sitting there kind of being annoyed by how long it's taking, and it just gives the game more personality. Now, ultimately, I think that this game has a lot to offer. It's got that neon pixel art, it's got that 80s wave synth music, it's got really fun and engaging, accessible gameplay, and has a really amazing story. But as far as performance, this game runs immaculately. I had no problem at all. No crashes, no bugs, no stutters, no nothing. In fact, the game just ran smooth as butter, which is what you want in these type of games where accuracy and precision is paramount. And that's exactly what this game offers. I will say, this came around because I actually bought a different game to review, a game called Hollow World. This game was so bad and so overpriced for what would be a free phone game. I ended up just picking up Shieldmaiden because it looked kind of interesting and I wanted to salvage something for a review. You know, I don't like doing negative reviews, but I had to at least mention Hollow World. But in contrast, oh my god, Shieldmaiden is so much better. This game really was a hidden gem to me, something I didn't expect I would like, but something I just picked up, like I said, to salvage a review. But I was completely surprised and taken back by the fact that maybe I'm not the best at picking out games for reviews, as this game, again, wasn't even something that was on my radar. I thoroughly enjoyed it though, and I think a lot of people will. There's not a large group of people who I think would dislike this game. It gives you the accessibility that if you're not very good at this combat, you can learn. If you're a vet to these type of games and you've been doing this for a long time, you're going to enjoy the story, you're really going to enjoy the personality of the game, as well as that awesome pixel art and amazing music. There's a lot to offer with this game, and I would say the only kind of downside for me is that it offers about 5 hours of gameplay. I could see some people taking a little bit longer and some people going a lot quicker, like half the time. I could see if you are really good at these games, this could be a speed run type game for you that you might be able to take down in an hour or two. I don't know how possible an hour is, but I'm sure it can be done. I would say the average person probably finishes this game in about 3 to 5 hours, in that range. For me, it's taken about 4 hours. I'm not that great at these type of games, so yeah, I've died a few times and, went back and forth, but it was definitely a really fun experience for what it had to offer. This is one of those like indie titles that some would say might be a little overpriced, as it comes in at around $13, I believe, but it's well worth it. Like, this would be like a AAA indie title. And I know that sounds like oxymoronic, but it's what it is. It's a very high quality indie game that is well worth your time and money. But that's just my thoughts, and I'm really curious what you guys have to think. Have you played it? It did come out on Steam, and it rated very well on Steam. Is it something that you're interested in? These type of games that you're interested in? Anything and everything down in the comment section. I would love to hear from you because, well, I'm lonely. It's not nice to leave me lonely. Anyway, guys, like always, I'm wishing you health, wealth, and above all, I hope you're truly happy because you make me happy. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.